this is the Pluto in Aquarius bonus reading by request. Thank you to my Aquarians for requesting this. So here it is, just as you asked, and it is most relevant to those of you that have prominent Aquarius placements, Aquarius sun, rising, moon. I'm going to tell you what to expect with this 20-year Pluto transit. Okay, so as many of you know, I am an Aquarian, so I think I can speak for many of us who have been feeling maybe a little bit nervous, like, oh crap, what is this? You know, is this going to be dark? Is this going to be difficult? I mean, we're talking about some Grim Reaper type of energy, right? And arguably, we Aquarians have a little PTSD. Can I just say that? I mean, think about what's been going on since, let's say as recent as Saturn going into Aquarius 2020 through 2023. Oh my gosh, that about broke me. And then prior to that, we had Aquarius in the South Node in 2017. Talk about feeling like getting flushed down a toilet. So, I mean, you know, when Pluto comes up as a heavy hitter, that it is on your sun sign, I mean, dear God, what's next? I mean, what else can I lose? What else could be taken away from me? Well, calm down. I got some good news. And I got to give credit to one particular astrologer who brought this up, and it's a really good point. And I sat with it and I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. That resonates. That adds up. I can get behind that. It's not false optimism. Christopher Renstrom basically said on his YouTube video about this transit, he said, Aquarius, you've pretty much already been through this transit, you know, because we're co-ruled by Saturn. And the last sign that went through this transit, which is Capricorn, is ruled by Saturn. So we've been going through it along with them. It's just that they've come out of it now. Usually when Pluto goes into your sign, it's a descent. And then you go through this transformation, you know, like going from a caterpillar into a cocoon into a butterfly, right? Well, they've gone through this descent, this death, to the transformation, and they've come out, ascent, rebirth, right? Butterfly. Well, where are we at in all of this? Based on our co-rulership with Saturn, we entered into a very slow descent starting back 2008, 2009. Remember with the housing crisis and the banker bailouts and all that stuff that was going on with the economy? Think back to all the way back then. What have you gone through since then? Has it been a slow descent? Have you suffered a lot of losses? I know I have. I mean, I lost a marriage during that transit. I lost a job and a house during that transit. I damn near lost my life during that transit, okay? But now, where are we at this? We are arguably still in that transformation because it's been a slow descent. And now we got 20 years in Aquarius, slow ascent. So heavy energy, but again, as I said before in the other videos, I do believe us Aquarians are here for such a time as this to usher in the Great Awakening. And not everybody's going to understand that, because realize how significant this is. Most people in their lifetimes, I should say many people in their lifetimes, are not going to experience Pluto on their sun or their rising. Because Pluto is such a slow moving transit, it will take 250 years to make it through all the zodiac signs. So if you feel like you've lost a lot over the last 15 years while Pluto was in Capricorn, and you feel like you're in some kind of a dark zone currently where you're not quite sure where things are going, you just know you're not who you were 15 years ago, I think that this message is really going to resonate with you, that it's up from here. Where exactly how, that's going to be specific to your natal chart, but I will say that this energy we've been through, it's brought a lot of crises, a lot of difficulties. And perhaps it was all preparation for this ascent of who's going to be riding that ascent with us. A lot of people had to get purged out of our lives. A lot of circumstances, situations had to be eliminated because they can't ride with us where we're going, sad as that may be. Now, are we completely out of the woods as of yet? No. I mean, especially if you are in the early degrees of Aquarius, you are feeling this most profoundly. Those of you born like first decan, the first part of the Aquarian cycle, are going to feel this more immediately, because Pluto intensifies whatever it touches. And so as it gets closer to the degree of your sign or your rising, you're going to feel it more intensely. So take, for example, me, I'm a third decan, Aquarian, Pisces leaning, 23 degrees. I'm not going to experience that Pluto coming right on my natal sun conjunct until like 15, 14 years from now. But whenever Pluto gets right on that degree, it's so slow moving, it will stay there for about a year or two. When Pluto is on your rising, we're looking at issues of your persona, even your physical body. So how you're coming across to other people could physically change, but more importantly on a psychological level, if you've been wearing masks with people, if you've been doing people pleasing, if you've been getting lost in groups or whatever, like the mask comes off, you become a lot more authentic. This could make or break relationships where people say, hey, could we just go back to you being fake with me, and so that I can feel good about us or me? And you're like, no, I can't do that anymore. I've got to be true to myself. And some people say, well, yeah, I don't like who you are. Or I'm not compatible, or there's a misalignment here. So it makes or breaks relationships. And again, some of you may have already gone through some of this over the last 15 years, like I said. Now, with Aquarius Sun, this is on a more deep psychological level, having to do with our own sense of self, our own unique energetic signature. And yes, it could also have to do with vitality. Side note, I'm going to do a whole nother video on the body astrology, because when we're talking about first house for the rising, or we're talking about the sun, looking at body astrology, we're looking at perhaps health, medical issues that will be very important to the Aquarian. So if you want to make sure you're notified for that, make sure you're following me. But getting back to the impact of Pluto on your sun in Aquarius, this could bring a whole new you. I mean, right down to the soul level, where you're getting into the psychology, you're understanding yourself and more deeply what motivates you, what you desire, and you are stepping more into personal empowerment. This may involve a new house, a new move, a new fill in the blank, something new with your life. And it's interesting because I know that next year, next spring, I'm going to be moving back and moving into a new house and really getting a new life in an area that oddly I left when Pluto went into Capricorn back in 2008, 2009-ish time frame. So that's weird, right? There was a death, an ending out there, so to speak, metaphorically. And now there's a rebirth where I'm going back to that area. And I'm breathing new life into something that had long ended or was eliminated from my life in that last Pluto cycle. Now, some of you Aquarians are like me. You have placements in Mercury in Aquarius. You might also have a moon in Aquarius. You might also have a Venus in Aquarius. And I could say recently, as Pluto has been getting closer and closer to my Mercury in Aquarius in the earlier degrees, I have had loved ones say, you're talking too much. You're talking too loud. And I'm like, I am not am I talking too loud? Or do you perceive that I'm talking too loud? People are picking up on this intensity, this power, whether you're trying to consciously put it out there or not. They're picking up on it, and they might not know exactly what it is, but they interpret it as, oh, you're being too loud, definitely in Mercury. And for me, even though it's not in my first house, it's in my 10th house, which is a very public, where people are recognizing, they're seeing, it's out in the open. You could be seeming more intense in your thought life and your communication if you've got that Mercury in Aquarius placement. Moon is about your emotional nature, so there could be something obviously with more intense feelings, but also perhaps you've gone through some ending where something that you attached some level of emotional security to, you have painfully had to let go of, or it's been taken from your life to establish a stronger sense of emotional security apart from that. And then if we're talking about your Venus placement, this could be your love nature, and it could be what you value and what you attract. So there's, again, a stronger possible potential there for you to attract things more strongly into your life. But again, something may be going through an incredible transformation having to do with your love nature when we're talking about Venus. Also pay attention to that opposing house, regardless of where you're born in the sign of Aquarius. Over the next year, we are all collectively dealing with several layers of energy, definitely within the first 6 months of 2025, which could bring a lot of mental energy. And on the dark side could bring anxiety. And I want to talk more about that. Everybody's going to get triggered by this, but most especially those of you who have prominent placements in Aquarius. Please join me for that. Make sure you're following. Till next time, take care.